Major transphobia coming through here.
Third shooting by someone who identified as trans, and we won't even talk about it, but there was definitely mental illness there, and she targeted, he or she targeted Christians, and actually in the manifesto targeted people like me because she was angry at people like me.
I'd be angry at people like you too.
Do you think that justifies?
Who is letting these kids into these universities? No, I want to know. Now, I've seen a lot of leftists try to hijack conversations with their nonsense and rhetoric, but the points that this guy was making were so far removed from the actual conversation that was taking place that I didn't even understand where he was coming from half the time. Check this out.
You hear about this shooting in Texas, or in Tennessee,
by
right?
a mentally deranged person who thought she was a he, and was
Wow. Major transphobia coming through here.
Third shooting by someone who identified as trans, and we won't even talk about it, but there was definitely mental illness there, and she targeted, he or she targeted Christians, and actually in the manifesto targeted people like me because she was angry at people like me.
I'd be angry at people like you too.
Do you think that justifies shooting me and shooting my children?
No, that's
because we value human life. Even though we may disagree,
not what I said.
Your life has value.
What I'm saying is that it's terrible what the person did.
Absolutely, it's terrible.
But you could never understand what trans people go through, being constantly vilified and denied the right to exist, to simply be. I don't understand why you say you're pro-life, but then are doing these things that I know you know, because you seem like a smart woman. I know you know the things you say about trans people lead to harm and hurt physically.
No, I actually believe you have to, when you love people and you respect people, you need to tell them the truth. If my friend came to me today and said, my limb isn't my limb, I don't want to have an arm, I identify as a one-armed person, please find me a surgeon. This is a actual mental illness that many people in our country suffer from. There was a whole TLC show about it. And if a friend of mine said, I need my arm cut off because this is a foreign substance to me, this is killing me, I'm suicidal because no one will remove my arm because there's no medical reason.
So you want to block them from taking
I would certainly not say, let's go chop up your arm.
The treatment for gender dysphoria, which is the mental illness you're referring to, not
is to
being
make people
trans,
infertile and to not treat what's happening in their mind.
Gender affirming surgery is treating.
You'd have to be here on the whole conversation.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about you're talking about pro-life. No. Meanwhile, you are.
I think it's very much
like the violence that you're calling for
right to take a child who's confused and is trying to sort out their gender identity.
I want to prove that she's not pro-life.
And to go take them to Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion vendor, who also now is the nation's largest distributor.
They're not two different issues. Being pro-life, you have to be pro-all life. You have to be pro-trans. You have to be pro-black people.
Absolutely, trans people. Every human being has a right to live. Absolutely. No one in the pro-life movement says that people who are black or Latina or trans or gay or whatever you identify don't have the right to live. Absolutely, you have the right to live. But I don't think our children, my school-age children, should be able to go to Planned Parenthood and without even a mental health assessment get drugs that will render them infertile for the rest of their life.
Which is not at all how that works.
That's absolutely what's happening.
When you're under 18, no matter what the medical procedure is.
No, sir, you are wrong. I do this for a freaking living. Don't you think I know what happens inside Planned Parenthood? I've been into probably 25 Planned Parenthoods. How many Planned Parenthoods have you been inside?
0. But I know that when you are under 18, you're not an adult. You can't do those things by yourself.
No, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. There's many laws now our state legislatures, Democratic-run state legislators, are passing. I don't think that that's pro-life to render someone who's gender confused as a minor. If you're an adult, I don't really care. But as a minor, to render them infertile, I think that's wrong. And actually goes to the founding of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood's founder, Margaret Sanger, was a eugenicist. You can Google that, who actually believed my family, who had immigrated to New York City in the 1910s, that my Irish family shouldn't have a right to reproduce, and that other stocks and breeds in her her quotes, shouldn't have a right to reproduce because she felt like they were harming society. That's how Planned Parenthood was actually founded. Planned Parenthood actually was not founded to be an abortion agency, the leading abortionist in the country. They were founded to promote positive and negative eugenics, to stop certain people from breeding, which is exactly what wrong sex hormone treatment therapy is doing in our country today.
So the first observation about this kid is that he couldn't wait to drop the transphobia term as soon as he could. Mind you, Hawkins was talking about the female shooter that took the lives of 6 innocent people, 3 of them being children, for nothing other than the fact that they were in a Christian school. Then, about 45 seconds in, he states that it was all terrible what this trans person did, but you can't understand the supposed oppression of being transgender. And when he says oppressed, he simply means that more and more people have gotten tired of going along with the lie that they want you to go along with. No one is obligated to play along with your fantasy. And his 3rd grade attempt at reverse psychology, calling it hate just because you're not hearing what you want, yeah, people are pretty much over that too. This poor law student also stated that Christians should know that the hate that we spread, and by that he means the truths that we're telling, causes harm and sometimes worse. Here's the thing. There's a little thing called scripture that Christians, well, most Christians anyway, aren't willing to ignore for the sake of fantasy. From the book of Luke chapter 9 verse 26, whoever is ashamed of me and my words, the Son of Man will be ashamed of them when he comes in his glory and in the glory of the Father and of the holy angels. Not to mention the book of Galatians chapter 6 verse 1. Brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, but watch yourselves or you also may be tempted. So when it comes down to it, every Christian man or woman has a choice. Choose God or choose to make people mad. Guess which one I'm going to choose? Go ahead and guess. But here was what I thought was one of the most insulting things on a personal level. Towards the end of the interactions, he says that pro-life people should be genuine by being pro-trans and pro-black. Why is it that progressives think that being black or brown is the same thing as being gay or trans? Don't equate my skin color and my culture to the activities that people choose to engage in behind closed doors. One is a choice, the other is not. And in case you haven't noticed, I don't buy into this "we were born gay" stuff. It's a lie, and here's how I know. Look up those case studies where sets of twins and triplets were tested where one of the twins or triplets had homosexual inclinations and the others did not. If being born with those inclinations was a biological truth, then someone with identical genetics would be prone to the same inclinations, right? Except that the case study showed overwhelmingly that that is not the case. The fact is, test after test revealed quite the opposite. So no, you're not born that way. So you can stop telling me and other minorities that we're the same as gay people. Equating my skin color to people's chosen bedroom activities is insulting, and I won't ever say otherwise. Then finally at the end, guys, it was a runaway train. He started off by trying to make an abortion discussion about trans people for some reason. Then he realized that he couldn't hijack the conversation because he was outmatched. He briefly tried to tell falsehoods about Planned Parenthood, to which he openly admitted that he'd never been to. Kristan Hawkins dominated this Q&A like she does every other. But you guys let me know what you think. Type amen in the comment section and subscribe if you agree. And great news, guys, through the glory of God, we have once again been blessed with a join button. So if you want to become a channel sponsor and support the channel monthly for a small fee, you can go ahead and do that. Again, never ever demand it, but always appreciate it. Everything that you guys contribute to the channel goes right back into the channel, and it is greatly appreciated. But you guys just being here at all is a great blessing to me, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Be safe, be good, be blessed. I will see you guys when I see you, and remember that Jesus is King, and tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Have a good one.